The sun rose the same way it always had, slow and unapologetic. That light had touched this flower before, long before the galaxy learned my name. I was not born a king. I was shaped by decisions that never forgave. And when she spoke my name, I understood this was not a meeting. Welcome to Human Parallax, where ordinary eyes can see the extraordinary. The sun rose the same way it always had, slow and unapologetic. I sat with my tea resting between both hands, watching the first ray slip through the thinning clouds. It touched the black flower growing at the edge of the terrace, and for a moment the petals shimmered as if remembering something they had tried to forget. I had seen that light before. Still awake before the sun? A voice asked behind me. I never stopped, I replied quietly. Retirement had not softened my mornings. It had only sharpened my memories. The warmth of the cup failed to reach my fingers, and as the light climbed higher, childhood followed it back into me without asking permission. My father used to stand where I stood now, hands clasped behind his back, eyes fixed on a horizon he believed could be held steady through will alone. King Draven spoke little at dawn. He believed words wasted strength before decisions were made. Kings don't greet the day, he once said. They measure it. I remembered watching him adjust the crown, not because it slipped, but because it reminded him of its weight. Silence followed him like an oath. When he did speak, it was never to explain himself. Principles don't bend, he told me once, voice calm. People do. At the time, I thought that was certainty. Later, I learned it was preparation. My mother never challenged my father in public. She protected us in smaller ways, quieter ones that required no audience. Queen Seren's strength was measured in what she prevented from happening. Eat, she would say, sliding a plate closer before anyone noticed it was empty. When my father's orders pressed too tightly, she found reasons for delay. When danger lingered, she placed herself between it and her sons without ceremony. Fear travels faster than truth, she once told me, adjusting my collar. So we move carefully. I did not understand then that her softness was armor, and her silence a warning. Prince Finn stood behind conversations, not inside them. While I listened for answers, he listened for pauses. His eyes followed reactions others thought invisible. Did you notice that? He whispered once. Notice what? I asked. He shook his head. Nothing. Not yet. Finn understood tension before it spoke. He saw patterns forming where I saw stillness. When the room felt balanced to me, he shifted his weight as if bracing for impact. Years later, I would remember that and realize he had been right far more often than I had ever admitted. Laughter existed in our halls, but it never lingered. We were raised to stand straight, to carry responsibility before comfort. Celebration was brief. Duty was constant. We do what is needed, my father said during meals. Not what is easy. No one argued. Even joy felt scheduled, contained, as if too much of it might weaken our readiness. We accepted this without complaint. Humanity, I would learn, often survives not through hope, but through discipline. And discipline has a cost. Advisor Liss spoke with precision, never volume. His warnings came wrapped in numbers and outcomes. Alien alliances are not built on trust, he told my father. They are built on leverage. What do they want? I asked. Liss met my eyes. Proof. My father nodded. My mother went still. Proof of what? Finn pressed. Liss hesitated. Of who we are when pressed. That answer stayed with me longer than it should have. Servant Kieran moved through our lives unnoticed by design. He poured tea, carried messages, cleaned what others left behind. But he listened. Once, I found him tending a wound on his arm. Who did this? I asked. No one important, he replied. Tell me. He smiled faintly. Then it would become important. Kieran bore pain quietly, believing service meant endurance. He paid prices no one recorded, and somehow he never asked to be seen. There was a name spoken only in fragments, never allowed in full. The Alien Queen. She was discussed the way storms are, by direction and distance, never by challenge. They don't negotiate, Liz warned. They evaluate. My father frowned. Evaluation can be managed. My mother did not agree. I saw it in the tightening of her jaw. Finn leaned close to me. They don't test strength, he murmured. They test truth. I did not yet know how costly truth could be. Human oaths are built on intent. Theirs were built on outcomes. To them, truth was not spoken, it was proven. They will ask for something, Liz said. And if we refuse? I asked. Then they will take something else. No one corrected him. As the sun climbed higher, the black flower lost its shimmer and returned to shadow. I lifted the cup and finally drank, the tea bitter and cold. I believed then that blood was unbreakable, that families stood apart from choice. I believed loyalty lived naturally inside names and crowns. I was wrong. The day I learned that began quietly, under a gentle sunrise, before any betrayal had shown its face. And it never truly ended. The hall did not echo when we stepped inside. It inhaled. The floor pulsed faintly beneath my boots, warm like skin beneath cloth. Light did not fall from above. It drifted, responding to movement, tightening whenever we paused. I felt watched without seeing eyes. Stay close, my father said, his voice steady. I am, Finn replied, though he had already slowed. My mother's hand brushed my sleeve, brief, deliberate. A warning without words. I swallowed and kept walking. Every breath felt borrowed, as if the structure counted them. We stopped at the center. The air folded inward, and she was suddenly there. Not descending. Not arriving. Present. Prince Athel, the alien queen said. Not my father. Not the crown. King Draven stiffened. You addressed the heir before the king? She turned her gaze to him only long enough to acknowledge the question. I address the one who will answer. My pulse quickened. Finn's fingers tightened around the hilt at his side. I will answer, my father said. She smiled faintly. Later. The challenge hung between us, sharp and deliberate. She moved closer, her presence smooth, controlled. No threat in her posture. No weapon visible. Tell me, she said softly, when duty and blood disagree, which survives? I did not answer. She tilted her head. You hesitate. That is human. My father interjected, our values are not entertainment. Nor are they shields, she replied. Her voice never rose, yet each word pressed inward. I felt as if she had slipped a blade beneath my ribs without breaking skin. King Draven stepped forward, squaring his shoulders. We do not hide our intentions. Then you will not fear exposure, she said. We will not trade integrity for alliance. The hall pulsed brighter, as if listening. Integrity is proven, she replied. Not declared. My father held her gaze. We have nothing to conceal. My mother inhaled sharply. I did not miss it this time. Queen Seren moved closer to me, her voice barely audible. Be careful what you offer so freely. My father did not look back. We stand clean. The alien queen watched my mother with interest. You understand cost, she observed. My children are not currency, my mother said calmly. No, the queen agreed. They are leverage. Finn shifted, anger flickering across his face. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Advisor Liss cleared his throat. Your Majesty, Our people require assurance. Perhaps another method. Methods reveal truth, the Queen interrupted. Outcomes confirm it. What outcomes? Lys asked. Sacrifice, she answered without pause. My father did not react. Lys did. His jaw tightened. Every alliance costs something, Lys said carefully. Yes, she replied. We prefer honesty about what bleeds. I understood then that she was not threatening us. She was explaining us to ourselves. While the others spoke, I noticed Kieran standing farther back, eyes lowered. The living walls shifted near him, opening briefly. A whisper escaped them. Royal proof, public. Kieran froze. He looked toward me, then away. When our eyes met again, he shook his head once. A plea. Or a warning. He said nothing. I felt the weight of that silence more than any spoken threat. Your species confuses intention with truth, the Queen said. We do not. My father replied, truth does not require pain. It requires consequence, she corrected. What do you want? I asked before I could stop myself. She turned back to me. To see which truth you protect when watched. Finn exhaled slowly. You enjoy this? No, she said. We survive it. Your bloodline, the Queen continued, is admired, disciplined, controlled. My father nodded slightly. And guarded, she added, from itself. My mother's voice cut through the air. Enough. The Queen smiled again, faintly. You already know. Finn looked at me. I had no answers for him. We will not be judged by spectacle, my father said. Judgment is inevitable, the Queen replied. The question is authorship. Meaning? I asked. You may present the truth, she said, or allow us to reveal it. Lys whispered, This is a trap. The Queen inclined her head. All tests are. The room seemed to narrow, light tightening around me. You will decide, she said. Me? I asked. You were named first, she replied. And you listened. My father turned sharply. I decide. She did not look at him. You will. After. I felt the crown's weight settle on me for the first time, not metal, but expectation. The hall exhaled as we turned to leave. No guards followed. No threats were spoken. Say nothing, my father ordered once we were beyond the living walls. No one argued. As we walked away, our footsteps matched, but our thoughts did not. I looked back once. The alien queen was already gone. The test had begun. The chamber was smaller than the hall we had left, but the air felt heavier. A single projection hovered between us, glowing with alien script and human seals. Choose, Advisor Lys said quietly. My brother stood to my right. The treaty shimmered to my left. You can't mean that, Finn said. I'm not part of this. No, Lys replied, but you are part of the cost. My father did not look at Finn. This alliance holds the border. I felt the room split along that sentence. For the first time, leadership felt less like direction and more like damage. King Draven lifted the stylus without ceremony. His hand did not shake. Father, I said. He paused only long enough to acknowledge me. Peace requires weight. The seal burned itself into the air. The treaty locked. Finn stared at the mark. You didn't ask me. Draven's voice remained calm. Kings don't ask when delay kills more. I understood the logic. I hated the silence it demanded. Queen Saren stepped forward, placing herself between Finn and the projection. This is not finished, she said. Draven's eyes narrowed. Saren. My sons are not margins, she interrupted, soft but firm. She took Finn's arm, pulling him back a step. It was not defiance. It was refusal to step aside. The alien queen watched from the far wall, unmoving. She did nothing. Liss adjusted the display, numbers cascading like rain. Loss is relative, he said. We minimize exposure. You mean sacrifice, Finn snapped. Liss did not flinch. I mean survival. What survives? I asked. Enough, Liss replied. The answer felt hollow. Ethics bent smoothly when framed as arithmetic. I saw how easily truth could be trimmed without breaking. The alien queen did not speak. She observed. I realized then that her absence was the test. She let us choose without pressure, trusting gravity to pull us apart. She's waiting, Finn whispered. Yes, I said. For us. Her stillness was a mirror. What we saw there belonged to us alone. Later, in a narrow passage, Kieran caught my sleeve. They plan to escalate, he murmured. Another test. Why tell me now? I asked. Because silence is safer, he replied. But not cleaner. Footsteps approached. Kieran stepped back, eyes lowered. I saw fear there, and resolve. He had chosen pain that lingered over safety that erased. That night, the border stabilized. Reports confirmed it. We succeeded, Liss said. No one celebrated. Finn ate in silence. My mother did not join us. My father reviewed data as if it could justify itself. Humanity endures, I learned, by rationing comfort until it feels optional. The next proposal arrived wrapped in courtesy. Additional assurance, Liss explained. Finn laughed once, sharply. You mean me? Draven closed his eyes briefly. This ends it. For who? Finn asked. For the kingdom, Draven replied. I felt something inside me fracture. Names should not reduce so easily. The map glowed brighter than before. New routes. New leverage. Decide, Liss urged. Finn looked at me. You're quiet. I'm thinking, I said. Don't, he replied. Just choose. I understood then that repetition dulls pain faster than time. The second cut always hurts more because you know where it lands. Draven spoke without looking at us. Proceed. Finn inhaled sharply. So that's it. It's duty, Draven said. To whom? Finn demanded. Draven did not answer. I saw it clearly then. Betrayal can wear the face of obligation. Later, my mother found me alone. This won't end, she said quietly. I know. She placed her hand on my chest. Protect what you can. What if that isn't everything? I asked. She withdrew her hand. Then love learns to choose. Acceptance settled like ash. It did not burn. It weighed. The council reconvened. All projections favor compliance, Liss said. Deviation risks collapse. Finn stood. You're counting lives like inventory. Liss met his gaze. That's because they are being spent. Draven nodded. The circle closed. Dialogue ended where numbers began. The alien queen observed the conclusion. You chose efficiency, she said. We chose survival, Draven replied. She inclined her head. Those are rarely the same. She offered no correction. No mercy. Her truth remained untouched. So did her distance. Later, alone, I stared into my untouched cup. First choice. Second choice. Each justified. Each clean on paper. I saw the pattern then, not a failure of morals, but a system that rewarded surrender dressed as reason. The tea had gone cold. So had something else. A message arrived marked urgent. Final terms. I stood. I will answer. My father turned. Athel. I know, I said. As I walked toward the chamber, The crown felt lighter, stripped of illusion. Then heavier, laden with what I would have to carry alone. Silence spread faster than fear. The alien queen's last words settled into the chamber, and even the living walls seemed to pause. I heard no machinery, no whispers, only breath being measured. One truth, she said evenly. Exposed. Witnessed. Uncontested. No threat followed. None was needed. Advisor list shifted first. Public exposure destabilizes. It clarifies, she replied. My father stood rigid. My mother did not move. Finn's gaze found the floor. I felt the weight of the moment settle, heavy and precise. This was not negotiation. It was an ending disguised as a question. This is unnecessary, King Draven said. The queen inclined her head. Necessary is not yours to define. She gestured, and the chamber opened, revealing observers beyond, envoys, records, eyes that would remember. Truth sealed in rooms rots, she continued. Truth witnessed becomes law. I understood then, confession was not the cost. Consequence was. My father looked at me. This will scar us. I answered quietly, scars prove survival. He did not respond. Finn moved before anyone stopped him. I'll do it, he said. My heart lurched. Finn. He raised a hand. Don't. The room did not cheer. No honor followed his step, only gravity. I'm already part of this, he added. At least make it end. My mother's breath caught. My father's jaw tightened. Finn faced the witnesses without pride or fear, only resolve. Innocence did not protect him. Choice did. I turned to King Draven. He did not speak. That pause lasted longer than any argument. I watched the calculation move behind his eyes. The kingdom, the border, the quiet stability bought with careful cruelty. Say something, I whispered. His silence answered me. In that moment, I learned that hesitation can wound deeper than refusal. At last, my father nodded. Once. Permission granted without words. Finn exhaled slowly. My mother closed her eyes. Advisor Liss looked relieved and ashamed. Authority had chosen survival again. The alien queen observed without expression. This was not victory to her. It was confirmation. Queen Seren did not cry out. She did not protest. Her hand rested over her heart, fingers pressed flat, as if holding something together by force alone. I met her eyes. She gave the smallest nod, not approval, but understanding. Silence, I realized, can be an act of love when speech would break what remains. Proceed, the alien queen said. Her voice carried no satisfaction. This is not punishment, she added. It is measure. Finn straightened. Then measure this. He did not bow. The queen did not blink. The chamber filled with sound, shifting weight, restrained murmurs, the soft hum of recorders awakening. Every breath felt amplified. This is wrong, someone whispered. This is necessary, another replied. I felt the divide ripple outward. Humanity laid bare, arguing even as it endured. Finn stood alone in the center, bloodline reduced to presence. Stop. The word left my mouth before permission could. All eyes turned to me. I refuse, I said. Not the truth, but the terms. My father spun toward me. Athel. I stepped forward. You asked for one truth. The queen studied me. Speak. The truth, I said, is that humanity will not kneel to be proven. We will endure loss, but not surrender. Silence followed, sharp and alive. I continued, voice steady. Take the cost. Witness it. But understand this. I met the queen's gaze. We do not beg survival from those who test us. Finn smiled faintly. My father said nothing. The queen regarded me for a long moment. "Endurance," she said slowly. "Not purity." "Yes," I replied. She inclined her head. "Acceptance, not mercy." Calculations shifted. Projections fractured. Advisor Liss whispered, "This wasn't expected." The Queen's doctrine had prepared for submission or collapse, not defiance shaped by loss. Humanity did not fit their models. For the first time, I saw uncertainty flicker across alien composure. The process concluded swiftly. No spectacle. No final words. Finn was simply gone. The space he had occupied felt louder than any scream. I stared at the empty place, waiting for something to return. Nothing did. "Terms are void," an envoy announced. Systems dimmed. Channels closed. The alliance cracked under the weight of a choice it could not contain. My father exhaled slowly. "So be it." The Queen observed the fracture with interest. Consequences accepted. Pain came later. In the quiet aftermath, I felt the crown press into me, not as metal, but as memory. This mark would not fade. It would not forgive. Leadership, I learned, stains those who wear it honestly. As the chamber emptied, I remained. I felt awe at what we had done, and fear of what it would cost. Humanity had chosen endurance over innocence. And the universe had noticed. We returned without banners. No crowds waited. No music rose. The gates opened because they always did, not because anyone cared who passed through them. The absence felt deliberate, as if the city itself had decided not to ask questions. "This is wrong," Finn's name echoed in my thoughts, even though he was no longer there. My father walked ahead of us, steps measured, shoulders straight. My mother followed at a distance. No one spoke. Victory had never felt so heavy, and failure had never been so quiet. Messages arrived within hours. Not demands, assessments. "Your position is noted," one envoy said through a filtered channel. "Unpredictable," another added. Advisor Liss read them aloud, his tone neutral. "They no longer assume compliance." "That was never promised," my father replied. "No," Liss agreed. "But it was expected." I felt the shift then. Humanity was no longer trusted, but it was no longer underestimated either. That night, King Draven summoned the council. He removed the crown slowly, placing it on the table between us. "I will not wear this after what it demanded," he said. Liss stiffened. "Abdication will destabilize." Draven raised a hand. "So did my rule." I found my voice. "Father." He looked at me then, truly looked. "You chose endurance over obedience. I chose stability over blood." Silence followed. "This kingdom needs a reckoning," he said quietly. "And I am done postponing it." Queen Seren did not attend the council. I found her later in the garden, hands folded, eyes fixed on nothing. "Mother," I said. She did not turn. If I ask why, I will hear answers I cannot live with. I stood beside her. The night air was cool, forgiving. "I protected what I could," she continued. "Now I will protect what remains." She walked away without another word. Grief does not always scream. Sometimes it retreats and dares you to follow. Advisor Liss approached me alone. "They blame me," he said flatly. "For what?" I asked. "For making survival efficient." He met my eyes. "I thought outcomes mattered more than methods." "And now?" I asked. He exhaled. "Now I see the cost of not counting what breaks." His authority was reduced, his influence narrowed. Not punishment, correction. Truth, I learned, always invoices eventually. The palace corridors felt larger in Finn's absence. Chairs remained empty. Conversations ended early. I caught myself listening for footsteps that would never return. Servant Kiran paused near one doorway, eyes lowered. "He liked this room," Kiran said softly. "I know," I replied. Kiran bowed his head. "I should have spoken sooner." "You spoke when it mattered," I said. "Loss does not resolve. It reshapes the space around it." The next summit was brief. "We acknowledge your endurance," an alien delegate said. "No apology?" I asked. "None required," they replied. "No forgiveness offered." Their tone carried caution, not hostility. Dependence without closeness. Humanity had become necessary, but never comfortable. I understood then that respect can exist without affection. And sometimes that is safer. The alien queen appeared once more, unannounced. "You survived the test," she said. "We survived ourselves," I replied. She considered that. "Your kind chose loss without submission." "Yes." She inclined her head. "That is not weakness." "No," I said. "It is cost." She did not deny it. "Our alliance remains altered." "Everything does," I answered. She vanished without farewell. Understanding, I learned, does not require agreement. I sit now where my father once stood, crown resting nearby but untouched. The kingdom endures. The borders hold. The galaxy watches. Finn's name is spoken less often, but it is never forgotten. Survival is not clean. It does not reward purity. It demands endurance and leaves scars as proof. I accept that now. Humanity did not win. Humanity persisted. And that, I have learned, is sometimes the bravest choice of all. The tea had gone cold without my noticing. I held the cup anyway, watching the sun complete its climb above the horizon. Retirement had taught me that time no longer rushed. It waited, patient and unmoved, like an old enemy who had learned respect. "Still up before the light," Servant Kiran said softly behind me. "Habit," I replied. He placed a shawl over the chair beside me, not touching my shoulders. He had learned when silence served better than comfort. "The council waits," he added. "They can wait," I said, eyes still on the sky. Kiran nodded once and withdrew. The sun finished rising. The cup remained untouched. At the edge of the terrace, the black flower leaned under its own weight. It had survived storms, heat, neglect. Now it bent, not broken, just changed. I knelt and brushed its petals. They no longer shimmered as they once had. "Still alive," I murmured. King Draven would have called that success. Queen Seren would have called it loss. I called it proof. Endurance does not preserve beauty. It reshapes it until survival is the only language left. 4 years, I named what happened Betrayal. It was easier that way. Clean. Sharp. Final. But betrayal implies choice without cause. What we faced had been heavier than that. "You don't forgive him," Finn once said in my memory. "I don't know how," I answered then. Now, older, I understood something harder. Necessity does not ask permission. It forces decisions that leave no clean hands. Calling it betrayal had spared me from accepting that truth. I stopped using the word. The silence that followed was not relief. It was clarity. The galaxy still debated us. Unstable, some called us. Dangerously principled, others warned. Advisor lists summarized it best during a closed briefing. "They don't know where you'll break." "That's because we don't," I replied. Humanity had not remained pure. It had endured instead. It had learned to carry contradictions without collapsing beneath them. That lesson followed me into every decision afterward. Not how to win, how to remain. The message arrived without announcement. No flourish, No warning. Just presence. The alien queen's voice filled the chamber, calm as ever. "You have entered a phase we observe carefully," she said. "Testing never ends?" I asked. "Observation replaces it," she replied. "For now." I set the cup down at last. "And if we fail?" "Then you will endure differently," she said. "Or not at all. No threat. No promise. Respect without comfort." The transmission ended. I remained seated long after the air cleared. Kieran returned quietly. "Shall I bring fresh tea?" "No," I said. "This is fine." He hesitated. "They will keep watching." "I know." "And if they come again?" he asked. I looked at the black flower, bent but alive. "Then we will answer the same way," I said. "With cost. Without kneeling." Kieran bowed and left me alone with the morning. Later that day, Queen Saren appeared at the doorway. She had grown thinner, quieter. "They sent a message," she said. "I received it." She studied my face. "You didn't argue." "I learned when argument wastes strength." She nodded. "Your father would have said that." "Yes," I replied. "He would have." She turned to leave, then stopped. "Do you regret it?" I considered the question carefully. "No," I said. "But I will never be free of it." She accepted that answer. We both did. As night approached, the terrace cooled again. I lifted the cup and drank the bitter remains without grimacing. The flower bent lower in the fading light. I understood now that humanity was not defined by triumph or purity, but by what it was willing to endure without surrendering itself. We were no longer children of hope. We were custodians of consequence. And the universe, watching closely, would have to decide whether that made us dangerous or necessary.